creating a broadcast. Broadcast created, it says. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's working. Okay. Let's go here. I don't know. I always like to check with the world. Let's put on some music. You know, something cinematic. I'm all about the cinematic music. Oh, there we go. That's like serious. Like, I'm Robert Stack. This is Unsolved Mysteries. Is it though? I need my glasses, unfortunately. No, I don't look as pretty with them on, but I don't look as pretty with this beard on my face either. Wow, what are we going to talk about? I've got cool stuff to share. I got so much cool stuff to share. I don't even know where to begin sometimes. Honestly, it's kind of like, you know, with the UFO people. What are the UFO people like? The UFO people, they love the vroom vroom spacecraft, but they also seem to enjoy and revel in the drama. And he said, she says, you lying grifter! How dare thee? Speaking of grifting, now I don't necessarily make money on my tridactyl ventures. In fact, au contraire, mon frère, to the opposite. I actually got to spend some money for all these wonderful designs that, and just, I feel like I'm like a certain president. Designs, we got all the best designs. Oh man, I do have to say, you have to go to our store though, at tridactyls.com. Now I'm looking at my store. Am I looking at my store? I don't know. Oh, there it is. I can see myself. Yeah, it's fun. I can see myself. I'm a guy on the TV, sort of. Tridactyls.com, go to our store. Now, so since I don't make money on anything, that means I actually pay for the store, or at least somebody does in this household. And it's not the dog. So that being said, go to the store. Let's share the screen. Why don't I just do that? I have that power. Here we go. Hold on to your wallets. Oh, yeah. Let's look at that. Let's see. Can we even give it a groovier? Yeah, I don't need to be on the screen. You don't have to look at me the whole time, do you? Wow. Look at this stuff. Hey there. Hi there. I love it. So what do I really like in this store? Well, I've only gotten a couple things for myself. I've gotten the polo. I got the blue one. I did offer the gray. I try to keep the colors limited, but I suppose if anybody really wanted a color, I could get you a color. So I did get that. So that's neat, you know. What other stuff might you want? Someone bought my set shirt. That's the green Cobra, the double Cobra shirt. But look, I'm not here to grift and talk. I'm talking too much about the store. Again, it just came to my attention. You know, it's cost money to do all this stuff. Nobody's paying me to be your tridactyl news guy. Let's look at some other. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Let's get out of there. We can stop that silliness. Let's share a different screen instead. Let's go ahead and replace the screen sharing with a tab or a window. Ooh, now that's sexy. This is something you want to see. So these are some weird artifacts. Let me turn down the music again. It's in my ears. And it's like I'm at a game show or something. Wow. Anybody out there? Is there anybody listening? I do have chat. I got chat open. Theoretically, on whatever platform you happen to see me on, I can respond to your chat. So if you don't want to come on the show, if I know you, you can come on the show. I would love to hear your opinions on things. But let's stick with this here, shall we? So these are artifacts said to be found with the tridactyl beings. Oh, that's weird that it got smaller. Let's see. Not what I expected. Isn't that weird? Let's see. Know what happened there. Now I'm out of it. Interesting. Let's see. Let me share that window again. Hold on tight. And let's just go entire screen. Try to get it bigger for you guys. I'm not really sure why that screen's not bigger. Okay, maybe I can zoom in then. Cool. But why? Oh, you know why? Because I'm sharing it on my thin screen. That's a little tricky, I guess. Oh, well, let's just stick with that. Okay, so check it out, these artifacts. We can zoom in anyway. Or can we? Now, let's look at these little weird little crosses. I didn't pay much. I really haven't paid much attention to the artifacts at all, to be honest, because the bodies, for one, are just so darn interesting. And I don't know. It's just, how do we know what these artifacts are? These do look a little creepy to me in a way, though, because we see these crosses here, but like, are those images of beings, or are those beings? Like, it almost looks like a dried shrimp. I don't know what that is. I don't know if anyone's really looked at these closely. I guess they have. Maybe it's just rusted metal. I don't know what this is, but someone had said they thought maybe it was a being. Maybe, I don't know. It does kind of look like that. Maybe there was like possibly something organic there. Okay, we got these strange things here. These look like something maybe you would run some, I don't know, electricity through. But this one I did get interested in, this artifact here. When they first released that, I think I made a little video on it. I suspect that is in a Yewas rune and an O. A Yewas and an O. So it's either making the yo sound, or it's some sort of alpha to omega kind of symbolism. And you say, why alpha? Because that strange character looks kind of serpentine, and it looks like the Yewas rune. Maybe even a cousin to the Yod rune. I don't know. The Yod has a limb attached to it. So I found that interesting. But that was last year. I haven't really heard much about the artifacts. You know, some people do accuse the researchers of kind of a slow trickle, and it does kind of feel like a slow trickle, but I don't really wait for the next discovery. I try to keep learning myself. So let's see, what did we discover lately? All right, I'm going to stop sharing here while I snoop around, right? Okay, I know what I want to show you. So hold on one sec. We might as well just go to the actual X page. All right. What's on our X page? Okay, let me share the screen so we can look at the latest post for myself, because that kind of keeps me on track as to what I want to discuss with you guys. And let's see. There it is. Hang tight. Here we go. Getting a share. Uh-oh. Got it. Okay, so here's an early meme I made. I call them memes. They're info memes. So what was brought up to people's attention was that the foramen magnum in the skull was kind of square-like. Maybe it was carved that way. We don't know. But regardless, it's interesting that there is a Chinese symbol for opening or for square called cow. You can see it in the lower corner there. Yeah. How cool is that? So, hopefully you're following along with this wonderful mystery. What's fun about some of the stuff I do is that it totally combines archaeology, linguistics, and symbolic interest, symbolic decoding, if you will. And so we can kind of do some of this stuff together. Okay, what else do we want to show you? So we've got that interesting cow thing. All right, let's go back to the Twitter page. Pow, I'm going to go full screen, right? Is that full screen? Where'd my full screen go? Full screen, not share with you guys. Oh, because I'm not sharing. Hold on. It's not my first day, but it feels like my second day back, if that makes sense. Uh-oh, who am I sharing now? I'm sharing myself. Oh no, I've created a riff. Dear God. I almost broke the third dimension or something. I don't know. Okay. Boom. So we're back to that, but let's just go up a wee bit. I feel like I'm stuck. Oh, I see what the issue is. I am not able to manipulate the thing for some reason, because I guess it's a window. Okay, so let me share the window then. What else is happening in the world? We'll get to some bodies and stuff in a second. Hold on. Let me see here. So that's what happens when you drink and drive. Don't drink and drive, right? Now it's hard because I have to keep switching screens. And then I don't know, like, am I sharing the right screen? Which it looks like I am. Okay, cool. So let's look at this one first. Oh man, it's starting to get weird. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But, whoa. Stop. I've somehow mixed up the thing again. Oh gosh. Hold on. You know what? I end up closing that window. Okay, fair enough. We open it again. So anyway, it does get a little weird because we have the Bible stuff. And I think even Theory himself was a little unhappy that, Bible stuff is starting to come into this story here. Why the Alpha and the Omega, you say? Well, I couldn't help staring from the very beginning at the skull. We should probably pull up the unaltered skull, to be fair, right? The unaltered skull. Let's show that. Because I noticed that everybody is accusing everybody of everything. It's just insane. Like, that's where the real conspiracy theories are. No wonder the UFO community has so much trouble, because you could literally post in a group that it's Friday and people are going to be like, no, it's not. I'm in Australia. Okay, fair enough. And someone else is going to be like, my day doesn't start yet. I don't know. They'll literally it doesn't matter what it is. They'll argue about anything. It's just insane. What are we looking at here? We're looking at the new window here. Here's the unaltered skull. Probably my favorite of all the skulls. Well, there's only two skulls that I know of, but definitely one of my favorites because I feel like there's just so much to tell about this guy. Let's zoom in. There it is. You can be the judge of whether I'm really did I really find something here or not. Let's go ahead and share something else now, if I can. Let's go ahead and share the previous. That's cool. Right here. Boom. Okay. Here's the meme. So we have her back to the skull. There's that letter. That letter, no two ways about it, that is an archaic A. It looks like it was formed when something sliced across its face, perhaps. Bear in mind, too, this is the being with the pronounced cranial ridges. So we got pronounced cranial ridges offsetting him from the other specimens. Head cut off, we think the head belongs to Victoria. Maybe we can find her on one of the sites. So, Victoria. I mean, I think this being is a perhaps a mythical being, or mythical, semi-historical, mythical being from history, and there's a reason why the first letter of the alphabet is on the name. And then, how interesting is it that the circular rib cage, minus the gastralia. The gastralia is this central part. The gastralia is, they call it like an abdominal rib in slang terms. And what it does is it helps support that cylindrical rib cage. Why is it so cylindrical? Well, there's no lungs in there. So these things are obviously cutaneous breathers. They engage in cutaneous respiration. And I couldn't help but wonder, what is the origin of the omega letter? And there it is, kind of right there, minus that gastralia in the center. So we have these circular rib cages, almost completely circular, right? Let me go ahead and do a full screen for that. All right, let's move in, guys. Oh, that's much better, don't you think? Oh, I see. I just realized why the screen's so thin, right? Makes sense now. Okay, so check this out. That is a close-up. And I believe it's the close-up of Victoria. I'm not sure, though. I guess that could be a scan. You know, it's a good point. I don't know who's... now that I think about it, I don't know if that's Victoria's. I don't know whose ribcage that is. Maybe someone else can tell me out there. I do have the chat open. Gears fan always somehow is like the one loyal fan. Gears fans coming in hot on Facebook. Thank you, sir. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you. You know, since you give me some good feelings here, let's share this latest meme. So, seeking out new life? Don't just follow us at Tridactyls. Take part in the discovery. And what do I mean by taking part in the discovery? Well, instead of saying, nuh-uh, let's try to find some answers together. It's going to take all of us, which it has. Just recently, a person by the name of, Friends something. I can't remember the rest of his. Friends at Electric or something. Friends Electric. You know, he pointed out that the Varinga being smelled of ammonia. And you know what goes along with cutaneous respiration? Cutaneous excretions. Yeah. So certain marine creatures have to excrete the ammonia, which is interesting because I always wondered too if the temperature or the sun has anything to do on the skin changing colors. Hey, here we got somebody. We got a new person here. I don't know. We've talked in the past, I think, Lars, right? Lars Linden here. Congratulations for showing this great discovery. The world seems to be asleep. I hope you open your eyes soon. Yeah, he's hoping you open your eyes soon. Well said. And that's what I'm talking about. Hey, turn off sound and check this link. Okay. I'm going to turn off the sound and check out his link. All right, let's see. Well, you know, it's a little hard to get to the link. I've had this issue before because, let's see, can I get it from here? I can't like highlight stuff or link stuff. So let's see, you're linking that on Facebook. I'll go to Facebook and check that out. But before I do that, let's take a look back at our original discussion here. And we have the alpha and the omega. Take another look at this here. I'm going to go check out Facebook. So maybe I can see this link of his that he's talking about. Because I'm doing this from Restream. So Restream is, you know, it's almost like a TV show. And I can't really click stuff. All right. Okay. Oh. Sorry, he's making me. I had to like I had to make sure that I was a human to watch this. The music we have some what kind of music do you call that? It's like some hacienda music. All right, we got a cool video of the skull. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to show that right now. That's just the way to do it, man. You share stuff with me. It makes my job probably a wee bit easier. Let's go. Oh, there you go. I got a nice Irish accent for us. Okay, here we go. Music's off. Boom. You're going to translate for us, Two Gear? It's Mexican Friday music. Oh, hey, there we go. Look at that at the end. The best part was the end. And I don't mean because it's over. I mean just that we had the Foreman Magnum there, didn't we? Okay, so enough of that info meme. Let's go to the new one that I found of all places, of all the crazy things. Because, I just don't stop researching. It's hard to stop. Every day there's a new discovery. And so it's just hard to stop researching. And then I have to make maybe a little video or say hello to you guys. Let's look at this one. Okay, coming at you live. If you guys are holding on to the show, I got some other cool things I want to show you. I want to show you some Hong Sheng artifacts. Maybe some of you have seen those in the past. It's been a while since we looked at those. I don't know how authentic they are, but they're cool. And some of them definitely has some iconography, I guess you could say, that's could be relative to what we're talking about here. Well, would you look at that? I couldn't believe that there was a Greek letter A in sort of reverse. I had to do some serious research into this thing because it's an antiquated, archaic grapheme. And I don't know the proper pronunciation. It's G, G, perhaps. You have to have the inflection on that. I haven't heard it spoken live, so I'm not positive on that. But how similar, and would you believe that it means similarly to Alpha and Omega? And again, I hate to get all biblically on you, but somebody put this stuff out there at one time, and here we are. I assert, to me, it looks like there is a archaic letter A carved into the tridactyl skull. And we noted that cow, which we see again here, resembles the forum magnum of two skulls that we looked at today, two separate different skulls, I'm pretty sure, right? Those are two different specimens. What's going on here? Now, there was a little interesting flip of meaning in these two, where with the Greek letters, alpha was the beginning and omega was the end. And here, in this perspective, cow was the beginning and alpha, or the G, same font, right? Same grapheme, was the end. So now we've ran into this philosophy, this imagery 3 times now, from the Yehuas and the O that we started with the tridactyl artifact, to the alpha and the omega, formed out of the carving in the middle of the skull. Note that looks like a cut here that forms part of that letter down to here. What is that? And the omega. So what is the meaning of all this? Well, I do have a theory that I would like to share with you. And if you've been following the constant companion theory, we believe that the mind-born motif, which is famous for Brahma, but probably you might know it better as Zeus and Kronos. The mind-born motif, that is, something came forth or was born from another thing's head. Now, I think this imagery is depicted in various ways. When you see stacked heads showing the generations of a family, that is likely related to this. Again, the Zeus and the Kronos story. But I think ultimately this motif, as we have real beings here, was based on a real event. And likely, this is the event. For some reason, this tridactyl head, which I suggest is Ka, or a bunch of other names that I don't even really want to get into, based on that letter on his head. But this Ka here is our alpha and our omega, and is the reason for our mind-born motif. Let's lighten up the mood a little here. Let's look at some Hong Sheng artifacts. I put some in a little cigar box here. Now let's see. I notice that we may have to bring down the background, because you're not going to be able to see. Is this a real blue screen? Okay. That's just black on black. That works actually, right? That's the blue screen. Thank you, tech person, for creating that for me, because we're going to need it right now. All right. So let's go to the blue screen. You can see some of the buddies in the background. I wanted to get some Hong Shan artifacts, things like the Chinese pig dragons. Love to get a Magatama, but so what's the Magatama? The Magatama are many times jade. So jadeite, green stones is the prevalent stone to depict these beings. So jade Buddhas and Hayatiki and Olmec stones and all of that. That's the primary. I don't have any jade, so maybe I don't have anything authentic. But I do have some cool things. I did mention a Chinese pig dragon. This one's a likely facsimile, I would guess, looking at the close-up of the carving. Now let's see. How do we that's one issue, right? Because we don't have a self-focusing camera. Okay, I guess, does that help? Maybe right there. Okay, so here we go. We have maybe the black. That's cool. I see where I need to put it for you guys. That's probably the best spot, and then it starts to get a little out of focus. Okay, so this is one of the so-called pig dragons. I suggest that the pig dragons, even if this is a replica, it's still fun as a teaching tool. The pig dragons, I suggest, is evidence of knowledge of the tridactyls. Now, early on, I asserted that these beings are the Naga and the dragons of Asia. That was an early thing. Why? Because once you start researching the cordiform heart-shaped faces, the three fingers, then you start to realize that these petroglyphs that they're associated with are associated with water spirals, which for some reason water and fertility seem to go hand in hand. So yeah, it was interesting. I was trying to break down the etymology of language, because I'm trying to keep finding the phonemes and the morphemes. I want the basis of sound. How else can you discover a a proto-language or a universal human language if we're not looking at these morphemes and prophemes. What are they called? Oh my God. Phonemes. Prophemes. It sounds like something you take if you're an athlete. I'll take some extra prophemes, sir. Anywho's it. Let's get back to the artifacts. That's the best part. Yada, yada. Here we go. What's this one here? This one here, I consider to be a maybe little Nagi. Oh, yeah, the axolotl. So the axolotl is, am I saying that right? Axolotl? I've heard people say it, and I just butcher it. Axolotl. Axolotl. I'm saying it wrong, aren't I? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, by the way. Let's put that up on the screen here. So that might be one of the closest things. Everyone calls them reptilians or lizard people. I would say they're closer to salamander people or newt people because we have what? The cutaneous breathing, and we have likely the cutaneous excretions. And what else? Why I think that salamander in Mexico has its religious significance is because these creatures experience a front-end metamorphosis. Another one of my predictions was those fetuses in the eggs are serpentine with front limb metamorphosis. I don't think anyone's mentioned that. I think maybe you guys are right. Maybe those scientists are kind of trickling down effect on us here. Me, I'm blasting full speed ahead. These beings have not only just these proto-amphibious traits, but they have other interesting traits such as long occipital condyles, long skull bones. I should probably pull that up. I can talk about things. I need like an AI that when I say something, it just pulls up the picture. You were talking about this, sir? Yes. Let's look at more of the Hongshan culture stuff. Thanks, Gears, for bringing up the fact that these are proto-amphibians likely, or they might even be basal tetrapods because of that gastralia, that kind of fakeish abdominal rib. And they're fake. I don't know if it's a fake. They have a fused clavicle, don't they? So that's a furcula in my book, right? They have the furcula, which you only see at Thanksgiving. Make a wish, children. We're going to break the tridactyl's furcula. Is this a Nagi right here? Look at her. Isn't she a pretty thing? Let me pull up my camera so I know where I'm sticking her. Oh, yes. I can't tell if she's in effect she's cool looking, huh? What's that nodule on the back? What do you do with that thing? Is that just so she can rest? Right? I don't know. I like this one. This is another one. I said she. I assume this is a she also. I call this one right now. She's I guess Bet, I was calling her, right? She's like the alphabet. She's like a letter B, kind of, if you see the letter B in the original form. Because I suggest that much of the letters and symbolism in humanity, in the world, is therianthropic. That means it's looks like a beast and a person. Yeah, weird. But if my skull theory proves true, amongst a bunch of other letters, well. All right, we're just going through my little box of Hongshan artifacts today. I feel like it's been a while since we looked at any of these. Turns out the cicada was of some importance. I would suggest for several reasons. A passing resemblance with a big head and eyes. Also, it goes what? It burrows underground and then flies. I don't know. Is there something there? Also, this too can kind of look like a stylized head itself, and maybe not even this one as much. But if you look at some of the cicadas in the historical record, jade ones, it kind of looks like they were doubling down on an anthropomorphic, a person-like experience. Here's another one. This is great because it looks like it could be a serpentine child. Not quite cordiform, but you definitely see a wide head here and little fins. So I hope this is a real Hongsheng artifact. For some reason, that's one of my favorites just because of that, because it looks like the child character or perhaps even the inspiration for a cross. If they inspired human language, I would suggest that they probably inspired the cross by either their serpentine shape or their three-fingered hands, or both. A couple more artifacts to show you today, and then we're going to get into the bodies because we want to definitely take a peek at tridactyls.org. Let's see what here we got here. Here's saying something. I have a question. It hasn't been talked about. Can you please explain if these salamander people are the Nazca Maria types? Do you think Marias feel many have been webbed like a frog or amphibian? Well, the Maria is so much more human than the little ones. The little ones are a little bit human, and maybe that's where their condyles are coming from, because the little ones' skulls are not too different than Homo longi, or would that be Homo lung, as in dragon? Those Chinese folk, they know how to name them, right? Yeah, the thing about dragons and Naga, they're not like to us like mermaids and dragons in the West. These beings have strong religious significance. So did Maria's feet? I don't know. That's interesting. Would you see that? They did such a good job preserving them. I don't think I can see that. I mean, I don't think we can see that in the little ones too. So that's a good point. But that could be a trait that was lost. Who knows? Maybe, maybe they don't encourage that. I would say perhaps at a certain stage. Again, think of the salamanders. Right? The salamanders don't necessarily stay webbed, but they're going to be webbed in the beginning. Yeah, Maria, I don't think are. Do you think Maria's feet are webbed? I don't think so. We can take a look. But speaking of taking a look, we got one more artifact before we look at the bodies today. And this one's wild. I wonder if this one sometimes is based on the abdomen of the so-called insectoids, because there is the myth of dragon turtles, and you'll see on this also there's another Hongsheng dragon fetus, if you will. Cool. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for taking part in those Hongsheng artifacts. I think they're pretty cool. There's something unique. Hopefully some of them turn out to be authentic. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Some of them I wonder, like the design. It's like, well, why else would they do that? But you never know. So let's see if we can answer Maria's feet question. I'm going to go ahead and return to my is that me? Here I am. Yeah, you guys can see me, okay? I'm on two different screens, so it freaks me out. All right. Let's go to our new friends. I guess they're old friends. We've known each other now. They've been very kind to include me in this. They know I've been working hard on my own. I've tried to make allies in this. What was it? The Mysterious Places guy kept laughing and making fun of everything I was doing. I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work out. Who else was there? I feel like there was somebody else I was trying to work with. Well, some people are just lukewarm. Everybody has their own angle to this, so I'm no different. This is my angle. I like to think my angle is different because we're looking at archaeological evidence, and I happen to have been an archaeologist. So what do you know? There's not a lot of these ancient alien nutters that actually have some pedigree, as I do. All right, let's check out tridactyls.org. I'm going to share that screen because I'm a cool guy. Here we go. We're allowed to share, I think, the screen. I don't know. I think it's just the DICOM files. They're a little like, hey, who are you sharing that with? I didn't share the files with anybody. I've only shared the link with various institutions and museums. So here we go. Can you see what I see? Do you see what? Oh, too early for that, isn't it? Too early for that nonsense. Wow. I hope you guys are watching. You know what? Let's just put I don't see any webbing in Maria's feet, by the way, buddy. I'm going to put the music back on for a second, And what was I going to do? I was just going to share a little bit. So hold on a second. Please hold. All right. I'm back. Thanks for hanging out with Let's Talk Tridactyls. What do we got here? What does this maximize button do? It's like, I don't know. All right, here we go. Check this out. So it says view evidence. I think we're okay viewing evidence. Again, I'm not sure how deep we want to go into the website before we. So this is all stuff I think you guys should be able to get to with relative ease. And again, if you are a researcher or if you are an institution, feel free to follow the links. Contact these guys. What do they have going on here? So we can learn a little bit about Maria. I don't see any evidence of webbing. That doesn't mean it couldn't have, I guess, maybe deteriorated, but I think you would see some evidence at the end of the day, I feel. Southern Peru. 3 fingers on hands. Oh, you know what? The other thing I have to talk about. I have to talk about the low bar of detective work in the world today. I'm looking at you, Reddit. I just don't understand why everyone's first. Maybe I do understand. I get it. Your first thought is somebody cut off the fingers. I get it. Your first thought is somebody cut off the fingers. I get it. But after 100 people have told you there's no evidence of manipulation, they say, oh yeah, how do you know there's no evidence of a manipulation? I mean, the funny thing is, people the plastic surgeon. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I'll have to research that. So I think I did that last time, though. I didn't remember his name. Didn't is that the right word? Anyway, that guy is a plastic surgeon. So we could dismiss that and say, what kind of a doctor is that anyway? But in reality, he might be the best guy to say, hey, there's no cut marks there. Nobody cut into this. And I don't know how else to say it to people. So for some of us who have been in this in the trenches, if you will, just hearing people say that over and over again, we can go there. You know what? Let's do it. Let's get naughty. Let's go to, let's see, probably the most notorious group that is anti-tridactyl, ironically, is Reddit aliens. Let's take a look at Reddit aliens, shall we? And let's see what some of the comments are. Okay. Here we go. So hopefully you guys can see that. We're going to go big. Let's go big. Minimize, maximize, minimize, customize. That's interesting. Scale. So I can raise the scale. I don't know what this is doing. I've gotten too far. Might be a little blurry to see. I can also just zoom in, I guess, on my screen, right? Maybe I'll just do that. Boom. Okay. So this guy's asking, what's the difference between this video, the one posted yesterday? I'm not even sure. I don't know if it matters. We got somebody here. Best flounder. Oh, again with this BS. Another person here. A dead child that looks weird because of inbreeding. Actually, not too far off on the inbreeding, because according to the myths, maybe how this was done, what do I mean by this? I mean everything. How this was done was backlogging is a term. And in mythological terms, the serpent mother would mate with her offspring. And then after that, she would mate with the next generation of offspring. Creepy. You know, the people of Tibet have an origin story, a creation story, of a rock ogress and a monkey falling in love and having little hybrid ogress monkey children. Meanwhile, back at Reddit, people are angry. How would aliens from another galaxy just happen to evolve to be nearly identical to Earth hominids? Well, they're not nearly identical if you look at the little ones. That's for sure. Let's see. Looking for something good. This just convinced me more that it's a child's body with mutilated hands and feet. Mm-hmm. The baby teeth bit is odd to me, that a creature evolved on another planet would have baby teeth like us. Well, remember, these are hybrids, and I prefer the term personally. What do I prefer? You know, I prefer terrestrials, which kind of goes along with the whole Sumer thing. Terrestrials. I think the Harvard guys in their hypothesis, you know, I jumped right over hypothesis and went right to theory. The Harvard guys are like they're crypto-terrestrials, but why are they crypto-terrestrials? If I know who they are. Something to consider. Does seem to be human in all respects. I wonder if it's something like a mutation. I wonder if these specimens are locked in boxes or if they're shared. Someone here making fun of the fact that they're in cardboard boxes. Anyway, I think that's enough Schadenfreude, right? But you get it. There's a lot of skepticism going on. Wow. Let's see if there's anything else coming down out there. Anybody listening, feel free to drop me a line, say hello. Love to hear your opinion on some of this. I'm trying to go for an hour show. Be sure to check out the Tridactyl store. Hey, if you want some merch. I've got some original designs up there. Sorry, no bodies. Haven't really thought about putting any of those bodies up there. But, you know, you don't have to get anything. I'd like you to, though. All right, what else? Let's go back to tridactyls.org. Thank you for sharing the Maria stuff. So you see, you can go there. You can interact with the videos. She has a scan of Maria's feet. Well, since that is a sort of pertinent thing, he was just talking about gears. Why don't we go ahead and look at that? Pretty sure we're allowed to look at the videos because Dragon Fruit on Reddit keeps sharing them. So I assume anything he shares is A-OK for us to share as well. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, where did my share button go? Going back to tridactyls.org. I'm tridactyls.com. Ed with the constant companion theory. If you want to learn more about the cultural implications of this long-term tenure of the beings in cooperation with us, perhaps, mayhaps. All right, close-ups of those feet, baby. Let's see what we can look at next. All right. I think we're going to go check out Alien Project. We haven't seen their stuff in a while. Always fun to go back and check with a good 3D scan. Ooh. Let's look at Sebastian. The Tridactyl Sebastian coming at you live from tridactyls.com. Let's talk Tridactyls. Can't leave. Oh, we'll have to go back to Victoria, too. All right, here he is. You can go here yourself, the-alien-project.com. This project is headed by Theory Jamin. Let's take off the diatom layer. Oh, that's right. Sebastian has an implant on the back. I suggest something to do with the fact that his skull no longer has pneumatic chambers. So perhaps his skull was too heavy. I don't know. Whoa. Looking into the head there. Looking up at him. Let's take off some of that tissue. Ooh. What's that down there? You get everybody sick. Let's remove another layer of fat tissues. Oh, we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. I'm like, oh yeah, baby. All right, Sebastian hanging out. Of course, if you notice too, they are sort of in the that classic sort of burial position for a shaft tomb. So we need to start re-looking at the shaft tombs of the world, or any of the tombs that are, or any of the burials that are in pottery, because that might be replicating an egg. So what likely happened was these beings may have passed on their own history to the hybrids, who may have passed it on to us. Perhaps those hybrids were the very first priest kings ruling high from a temple, speaking with the spirits from below. And remember, a spirit is not the Western belief of a ethereal ghost. A spirit, a forest spirit, is like us. Forest spirit theoretically has a soul, so they are like us. So the West and the East frequently has completely different ways of looking at things. The dragon myth might be a glaring one. Hey, let's go back to Victoria, and I'm going to see if I can find some other slides of her while I do that. If everything stays up for you. If the screen doesn't close, in other words. Wow, I'm having fun today because there's a lot to talk about. So that's fun. There's a lot of different things to look at. All right. Looks like we're going to be sharing some Victoria here, or possibly the body to the skull. I don't know. Am I still sharing that? I see I'm sharing it on one screen, but I don't see her on the other. Is this her? I see what happened. I opened too many screens. Okay, so are you seeing this one? Yes, you are. This is the Victoria. This is my guess. There's several heads, to be fair. There's several heads. I'm going to assume that the head with the letter A carved into it, that archaic Greek A, or a G in Chinese, and I'm not sure if I'm inflecting it all correctly. We'll have to learn that letter just for that, right? So let's go look at this body real quick. And while I do that, also while I show you her, I will also try to find some other stuff to look at, because that's fun, right? Okay, so once again, when you go to the site, you probably should remove the diatom layer, and probably the first tissue layer, to be honest. There's really not much to see there. Okay, this is good because I wanted to take a look at her legs. We're going to have to take out the soft tissue. We're going to take out the muscle tissue too. I want to see how these legs, if we can get an idea of growth. I don't know what's going on, honestly. It's a lot of, I would say physiology, morphology isn't my strong suit. Look at how thick those bones seem, really thick, don't they? They seem to be way more robust. Oh, is that because he's second generation than the others, perhaps? I don't know. Hold tight. I'm going to look for some other Victoria picks. Let's go, Tridactyls. We're talking Tridactyls here. This is the very real discovery that has taken place. This is not BS. This is not fake. There are CT scans. There is DNA that is uploaded to the National Institute of Health. I mean, come on. What else can we say about this? It's just, I don't think there's any convincing anybody. Really, you just kind of have to make your own decision. I think after a while, though, people will get inundated with this. That's funny now that I realize that some people are like, oh, again with this? What's this going to be like when the world finds out? If the world finds out, I don't know. Maybe we'll destroy each other to kingdom come before that. Well, that's positive, Ed. Look at this. Okay, so we're going to leave the Victoria site, and we got some photos here of some really interesting scans. They're a bit horrifying. Replace the screen share with entire screen here. Boom. Well, this looks like something from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or your local barbecue. Victoria, here she is. Oh, we got a nice upper view of that furcula, right? Is this one fused though? This one looks like almost like, is that two different bones now that I look at it? What's going on here? Whoa. That's interesting. Is that a furcula? Or is that definitely a focula? Fake furcula. That's wild, huh? Huh. Okay. That's I do look forward to hearing some more biological explanation to some of this stuff. Wow. You know, guys, too, in the future, I hope some of you will want to come on and you'll want to discuss maybe some of some other fun things in the world. Let's see what we got here. We got more stuff from Gear. I believe ears, nose, and webbing is a cartilage material and would possibly disintegrate. Yeah, maybe. You know what though? Again, I think that webbing disappears early, man. That's what I'm guessing. I don't think Maria would have it, but maybe the little ones. So, oh wow. Oh, did I not actually hit the button? No, I did. Oh, it looks like it stopped at one point. Huh. That's interesting. Looks like I stopped on X. I guess that's okay. I was live. It just ended maybe recently. Anyway, it looks like X. So I stopped on X. I don't know why. That's okay. So, Gear, let's do it, man. Let's keep looking for these webbing things. I hope you're right. To be honest, I hope you're right. I don't see evidence of it yet. I think it may be in the small ones, but you know, look to the axolotl again. How long do they keep their webbing, right? So let's see. We are going to wrap this up. So last chances to say anything interesting or join me. I like to do an hour show. I think that's reasonable. If I can just spit fire for an hour, that's pretty good. Ideally, the more content, the more the word gets out there. And ultimately, I'm just here to sell t-shirts. I'm just kidding. I just like to put every product I do, every sort of production I do, Got to have t-shirts. So I think it's an easy way for people to get involved. So I don't know. Questions, comments, concerns? I'll be back when I have more discoveries. Atlantis, yeah, Gears. I think Atlantis is actually coming right off of New Guinea because that's where a large number of the crops of the world come from. Things like yams and things like bananas. And there's a huge open sea there, and that's where you're going to find the people who, kind of like the people in the upper Tibetan mountains, some of them have that Denisovan gene that allows them to extract oxygen from the thin air. These people are able to go underwater, right? These islanders. I want to say they're off of Sumatra somewhere. Let's see. And the alien species of alien in the research, I don't know what that is, but I would like to say, I think Geiger somehow knew something about these beings, right? How much of this stuff in our pop culture, that's what I was going to say, I'm willing to talk to you guys about pop culture. How much stuff in our pop culture is the result of either a distant memory or implanted memories? I think that's the ultimate thing about religion. They just wanted us to remember them. I'm going to leave you with that. They just want us to remember them. Live long and prosper. I'm Mr. Ed. This is the constant companion theory at Tridactyls. You'll find archaeological evidence that supports the tenure of these beings here on planet Earth for likely tens of thousands of years, although their morphology of having a gastralia, furcula, cutaneous respiration and cutaneous excretion. This sort of points towards a creature that is more of a proto-salamander, or dare I say a basal tetrapod, perhaps predating all animals. Yes. Awesome. To be continued. Thanks for watching.